Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we'll be finally writing a query so as to enter the data into the database. So the first thing which you'll need to do is that you need to go inside this onUpgrade method which we have just overridden, and you need to add in some code here. So the code here is basically going to contain like what happens if we upgrade the table. So in that case, if we want to upgrade a table, what we need to do is that we need to delete the current table. So in order to delete the current table, there is a method which is called as the drop table, and this method is actually contained in the SQL. So we need to just execute the drop table instruction or the drop table command so that it drops the table and it is going to completely delete each and every element which is present in the table. So we go ahead and do that. So we type db.execute, and instead of creating a string and everything like that, we are simply going to type in the SQL query directly within it. So we type drop table, that means delete table, if exists, that means if the table is going to exist, then it is going to delete the table, or else it is not going to do that. Then we come out of this and we type plus, and then we mention the table name which we want to delete. So we type table underscore products, and as in this case this is our only table, we specify the table name. Now once the table is deleted, the next thing which we need to do is that we need to execute each and every line of code within this onCreate, and this onCreate is basically going to create a new table for us. So then we type onCreate, and to this we pass in the database. So this code right here is going to create a new table. So once everything is done, we are going to add three methods to this class right here. So the first method is going to be to add a new product to the database. The second method is going to be to delete a product from the database, and the third one is going to be used in order to convert the product to string so that it could be displayed onto our activity. So let's go ahead and create the first method. So we exit out of this onUpgrade and we create the first method, which is nothing but the add product. So we type public void add product, and to this we are going to pass products. So once this is done, the next thing which we need to do is that we need to create, or we need to associate each and every value which we want to insert into the database. So for doing that, we use the content values. So we type content values equals new content values, and then we are going to use the method which is called as put, which is actually going to combine everything so that it could be inserted into the database. So we type values dot put, and inside it we are going to pass in the column product name. So we type column product name as the first parameter, and the second parameter is going to be the product name itself. So we type comma products dot get product name. So once we have it, the next thing which we need to do is that we need to get a reference to the database. So in order to get reference to the database, we type SQLite database, then we type db equals get writable database, and whenever we want to write something to the database, we get reference as the get writable database. So once we have the reference, the only thing which remains is that we need to enter the values. So as we have used these values in order to bind everything together, we simply need to insert these values into the database. So we type db.insert. So this method is used to insert values in database, and the first thing is going to be the table name in which we want to insert. So the table name is nothing but the table products. Then we need to pass in null, and finally we need to pass in these values which we have just created, which actually combines the content, and when we pass it, each and every value is going to get inserted into the database. Now once everything is inserted into the database, the next thing which you need to do is that you need to close the database. So we type db.close, and this is going to close connection to your database. Now we are done with the code for adding the product. Now we need to type in the code for deleting a product. So in order to delete a product, we create a new method and we call it as delete product. So we type public void delete product, and to this we pass in the string which the user is going to enter right over here. So we type string and we pass in the product name. So we type product name, and inside it we are going to write in the code which we need to execute so as to delete the content from the database. So again we need to get a reference to the database, so we simply copy this line of code here, and we need to get a reference to the writable database. So we type SQLite database db equals get writable database. Now once we have a reference, we need to execute a query for deleting each and every row. Now remember, we have already used a query which was for deleting the entire table, but in this case we don't want to delete the entire table, but we want to delete a single entry from it. So basically we are going to need to write a new code for this. So instead of creating a string, we are directly going to write in the SQL statement. So we type db dot execsql, and as we need to delete, we type delete from, then we type in plus signs, then we type in the table name, which is table underscore products. So we simply select this from here in order to avoid spelling mistakes, and we paste it here, and then we add a plus sign again, and we specify a keyword which is called as where. So this where is going to specify from where we want to delete it. So we want to delete where the product name is going to be equal to the product name which we have entered. So we type where, then we give a plus sign, and within these two plus signs we are going to specify the column product name. So we copy it from here and we paste it here. So we want to mention when this equals something, so we move back, we use double quotes, we use equal to and a slash, and we again use a quote here, and after this we type the product name. So we type product name, which we have just passed into this method right here, and again we add a slash right here in double quotes. So make sure that you add a slash, and after the double quote ends, we again add a semicolon and a double quote. So this is the basic syntax for deleting a particular row. So make sure that you type in the syntax correctly. So you pause the video, note down the syntax, and then type it in by yourself, and make sure that you don't miss any of the comma or any other symbol right here, and if you miss even a single symbol, then your program is not going to execute properly. So once this is done, we are pretty much done with the two methods, and only one method is remaining, which is for printing the database results, and we are going to cover that in the next tutorial. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.